Hi, Rach.
Hi, Rob.
Now, listen, we've got two real veterans of the industry on today who've been in the industry for 20 years. So I wanted to ask you, what were you doing 20 years ago?
That's a good question. 20 years ago, I was 16, so I think my biggest concern was probably passing my driver's test the first go around.
And did you?
I did. Yeah, I'm actually a really good driver.
Have you got any points? Do you have points in the US?
Yeah, you can get points. I've definitely had a few speeding tickets. I don't know what that looks like from a points standpoint, but I mean it's still a valid driver's license, so it can't be that bad.
They've not taken your car off you yet.
Exactly. It's still parked on the street.
Welcome back to another episode of Awin-Win Marketing Podcast. And once again, a warm welcome to Rachel Tyra. Second episode in a row, Rach. I think this is the third one you've done this year. How does it feel to be the kind of featured co-host in 2026?
Honestly, I'm starting to feel a little special, and it feels like I live here now. So I'm happy to be back, and I think you're stuck with me.
I mean, you are very special, Rach.
Okay, well, if you could just get me my own mic, that would be good. So for today's episode, Rob and I sat down with Upsellit and eAccountable. Upsellit is a conversion optimization and customer acquisition partner. They are one of our more popular technology partners. And then we had eAccountable, who is a US-based performance marketing agency specializing in affiliate marketing and performance-driven growth.
That's right. And Rach and I actually sat down with these guys in Chicago at Think Tank, another one of the recordings that we managed to capture there in person, which was great. And this one really stood out actually because it's such a long-standing partnership between the agency and the tech partner themselves, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it was really interesting to hear from Jeremy how much the Upsellit solutions and products have changed over time. But generally speaking, their relationship has been a really important part of their success, working together, making sure their teams are working together. I think that's something that is still a very important piece of affiliate marketing.
We run affiliate and performance PR for our clients.
That's Teresa, Senior Director at eAccountable.
Every day, you never know what it's going to be, but a good day would be, meetings with clients to discuss their programs and optimizations, meeting publisher partners to either it's discovering new ones or new ways to optimize with them, and then working with my team to make sure they are getting all the resources they need. So we always, get excited with success. It was when, we're hitting their goals at a profitable way, whether that means through a new partnership, new uses of it. It could be a press hit, things like that. So
yeah. And how long have you been in the industry for?
I started in 2006.
Wow.
Same year Jeremy did. We both started in 2006, so a long time.
Yeah, veterans.
Yes.
Jeremy, same question to you. What does a good day look like and what's your role actually involved?
Well, when I don't feel like I'm a firefighter putting out fires.
And that's Jeremy Aronson, Chief Revenue Officer at Upsellit.
A good day for me is starting the day with my UK team, talking with them, seeing what's going on over there, talking about partnerships, what's working, what's not working, and then kind of working through the day with my US team as well. So, I've got 10 people here and 5 over in the UK, so it's really just keeping connected with them and see what's going on and what's working.
And so can you describe for our listeners what it is in one sentence that Upsellit does?
Conversion rate optimization, full funnel strategy.
Yeah.
So really everything from top to bottom of the funnel, try to get sales to stay on the site.
And how long's the business been going for?
20 years this last year.
Right. Yeah.
Pretty wild. I'll be my 20th year there this year.
Wow. So you were employee hire?
Number 2.
Wow.
Yeah. And there was just 4 people playing games and having fun and then making it a real company.
Yeah.
It's been a wild ride.
Yeah. And how about eAccountable? How long has that company been going for?
It started in 2000.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so quite a while.
Yeah. And what is it that you do as an agency? What's your focus?
So it's all digital marketing. So I lead up the affiliate performance PR side, but we have marketplace management, we have paid, we have SEO, a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
So you guys have known each other for 20 years. How did you first start working together and what made it a yes for both of you?
Well, we started working with eAccountable, I was trying to do the math on it, probably about 12 or so years ago. A big part of when it was just me, when I was employee number 1, is how do we build a sales force without having a sales force, right? And it was going to the networks and going to the agencies and saying, hey, we're all in the same boat here, trying to drive sales for our clients. Let's work together and use our solutions for your clients, right? So it took a long time to get buy-in, especially when e-commerce wasn't, back then still people were just sending traffic to a website and didn't really care about converting. And then there's kind of this convergence point of everyone realizing, well, we got to actually convert and drive sales, right? And so I think they were one of the first ones we really kind of started doing that with.
What was the single biggest blocker back then in terms of those conversations? Was it just literally them getting their head around the tech?
Tech's always kind of been it, right? And then when we started doing the universal tags and whatnot, that was obviously a game changer. But back then was, how do we put the tag up? Who's going to do it? How are we going to do it? And do we have time to do it? And as we know, marketing and tech sometimes don't,
speak the same language.
Yeah, exactly. And so they have different priorities, and so that was definitely a big one.
Yeah.
Then the market started turning, and here we are.
And Teresa, how did you find the start of the partnership? Did your team kind of immediately accept kind of that role, or was it a learning curve?
It's interesting. I think now it's more common, but like 10, 12 years ago, people still just thought of affiliate as the traditional affiliates, and including a lot of our clients and the marketing teams. And so you come to them with a totally different solution, but that's through affiliate. It was a thing of, some of them got it, and some are like, this doesn't make, how is this affiliate? And you're like, it doesn't have to be just like a coupon site or a loyalty site or whatever. Affiliate is so much more than that. And so it was exciting though. I personally, and I know my team loves when there's something that's different to talk about and bring these types of opportunities to clients. And it, when it makes sense and they can provide the data to back it up. And I would say definitely agree though, the tech it's great. It's not a hard tech install, but it still can be the biggest.
And to give them some props and kudos, and one of the reasons why we're here together and talking is they've been so good. We've been working with them for so long that it's seamless working with them in terms of their referrals to us, right? Their team gets it, and it's become almost just like a handoff where we don't have to sell it as much anymore either, because your team does such a good job in just explaining what we do. Because that's again one of the hardest things too is, again, we're not just exit technology. We're not just this. We do so much more, and they get that. Yeah. So it kind of makes the go live process a lot quicker.
Yeah.
And do you kind of have indicators from your side? Does your team kind of know, a common problem that a brand will flag, or is it like an immediate kind of light bulb for them or for your team to kind of say?
There's definitely the light bulb moments of, if they bring up something about wanting to increase AOV, we're like, oh, the product recommendation makes sense. And then there's some that it's really creative use of it. We have a high-end linen client who really wanted to get away from sales and debranding, but they still had this subset of customers who they knew just only bought when stuff was on sale, and they wanted to do private sales through them. And Upsellit has technology to help with that. So it's kind of, I love when it's a unique solution like that is not what people think of always when they think of Upsellit. It's a very different thing, and it's a luxury client, and it's working fantastic for them, and they love it. So it solved a very unique problem.
Yeah.
So what does that relationship look like in practice today? How do you actually collaborate between the two of you, particularly, I guess, when you are speaking to a prospective client about potentially working with Upsellit? How does that work in terms of pitching it to them, getting them introduced to Jeremy and the team, and then the handoff there between actually getting it live for an actual advertiser?
If we see someone that we think it's going to be a good fit, we'll reach out to one of Jeremy's team members because they can explain it way better than we can, and they're so good at, walking people through all the data and each tool and what would work for them and following up with whatever they need and tailoring it specifically to the client. Yeah. So that's typically is we're saying this is the type of partnership where you want to talk to them, and then you can truly ask them the deep questions and really make sure that we're picking the right products for you and implementing it the right way. That makes the most sense.
Yeah. And from your side, what does that process
the way I've always done these types of partnerships is it has to be kind of a one-on-one situation, right? So we really try to get our team to talk to their team more one-on-one, one person talking to one person, right? Because they build that relationship, and they know how each other works, and so that allows for the partnership, I think, to start at a very good place, right? Because when they're communicating and they understand how each other works or whatnot, it just makes, I think, the whole thing of going live seamless. So when they come with an idea saying, hey, this client, this is what we want for AOV or, new to file or whatever it may be, they already know solutions they've worked on together, and they can kind of go from there.
Yeah.
And then it's great because it's not just like it's turned on, it's always tweaking it and always adjusting it, showing the reports, showing all of it. So it's very much an ongoing partnership, not just we launched with them and now it's there.
Never set it and forget it.
It's always changing.
I wanted to go into a little bit more depth about what Upsellit actually is.
Yeah.
You hear a lot of people still talking about like conversion tech, and they think about pop-ups or cart abandonment recovery solutions, etc. So could you give us a bit of backstory around the Upsellit story?
How long you got?
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of versions over the years, so it's definitely
We'll see which one we get today.
Yeah.
So, but what are the main kind of solution categories or buckets that you've got?
Yeah, I'll take a step back. So originally we started as an AI chatbot.
Okay.
20 years ago.
Yeah, which is obviously like
natural language parsing, not AI as we know it today, obviously. But it's kind of crazy that it's come full circle, and we don't even use that product anymore, right? This is kind of sitting on the shelf, which is it's mind blowing, right? So that's really where we started, and that was before really e-commerce took off, like I said before. But now we did such a good job with cart abandonment and being in the cart that we have to constantly keep educating people that that's not all we do, right? Because like I said, full funnel strategies really, right? So entrance page, mid-level, and obviously cart is always a big one because it's the lowest hanging fruit, right? People are there, they need a coupon, they want to purchase, whatever, but there is a lot more we can do beyond the coupon. And why we see 68, 70% abandonment there, we're starting to see even more, the abandonment's really happening on the product pages, PDP pages, right? People are looking at products, they have 5 other tabs open, looking at competitors, similar type products, they're confused about the pages they're on. So that's kind of been our big focus lately, is how do we start taking in that 90% abandonment on there and leveraging that. So we're building products around that.
With the brands that you're working with, do you see them moving through different solutions? Or typically when you start working with a brand, are they just kind of one solution and that's great for them?
They usually do move through solutions, right? Because they come in thinking they need one thing, right? Or we'll show them they need one thing. We always want to take a crawl, walk, run, approach on things. So we always want to start with one, right? But then we start showing data, right? We start looking at the data. How do we leverage that then for a new solution? Actually, we're seeing this and we're seeing that. We actually have a way we can do a full analytic report on the website as well, and actually pinpoint where they're having the abandonment. Not only the abandonment, and goes beyond what you were saying of not just being a cart, it's really about rules and how do we make the experience, say, special for that user, right? So we can actually take in data, see what they've done on the website, and use that to our advantage and how we execute as well.
Yeah, I feel like you're in a very unique position because your solutions are constantly evolving, and then it just like changes constantly what that brand is looking for. You're kind of in a position to always have a different solution for what they need.
Exactly, and the fact that we have so many is sometimes
overwhelming.
Not as overwhelming. Right? And so we kind of have to narrow it down to a couple things. Then they're like, well, I didn't know you did this. Like, well, we didn't get to it all because we didn't want to overwhelm.
I think that's always particularly interesting talking to technology partners because they often start off offering one narrowly targeted solution for a real customer pain point, and they build their success off of that and their name and their brand equity.
Exactly.
And that's a great gateway for them, but obviously it's not the only thing that they end up doing, because the more they speak to advertisers, the more they discover around the challenges that they face, the more they build things that can solve that for them.
Exactly.
But that then leads to this kind of dilemma that they've got as to, well, people know me for this one thing, but actually I've got all of this other stuff that we've built and that we do.
Exactly.
And how do you strike the right balance then around marketing yourselves in a way that is going to speak to all of those different solutions, but is not going to confuse and overwhelm the customer, so they just kind of throw up their hands and I don't really understand what you do? Is that
you can talk to our solution yourself.
Okay,
I think you got this. I think you got this.
Rob did his homework.
Right? And when you talk about like struggles we face as well, that's another big one, right? And not only because they're like, well, I already do that. Well, you don't, right? Let us show you, right? They don't even get on calls because they're just convinced they do everything we do. Well, let us show you, right? I'm sure you see that with the clients as
they're
well.
They're like, oh, we can do that through our Shopify or whatever. And you're like, not really. Like, you can do a very pared down version of what it is.
And they may do something, and that's great. Keep doing it, right? But let us show you a gap analysis. Let us show you what you're not doing, because there are levers that you can pull that you're not pulling yet, and let us show you how to do that.
A Win-Win Marketing Podcast is brought to you by Awin, pun intended. Awin's a global affiliate marketing platform that helps e-commerce brands called advertisers and online trusted authorities called publishers connect and create partnerships to deliver huge commercial benefits that are a win-win for all. Awin advertisers see an average ROI of $13 for every dollar they invest in their programs, and they see those returns while achieving a variety of marketing goals, acquiring new customers, increasing their AOVs, boosting retention, growing brand awareness. So what are you waiting for? Start your Awin affiliate program today by visiting awin.com.
What would you say is like your most popular solution where you're like, this is what people generally are coming to us for?
We get that question a lot, and I actually turn that around. It kind of goes back to what Teresa said. It's really based around what the brand needs, not necessarily the popular solution. Because I'll put a cart solution up all day long, exit, right? And that's where we'll make money. Everyone will make money, that's great. But what is that going to do for the brand? What is that going to do for the user that's on the website? We really want to curate an experience that is what the brand wants and needs. So we'll actually talk to them and kind of turn it on them and say, where are you struggling? Where are you at? Let's build that solution to that.
Could you speak to a couple of the different solutions that are maybe one that's much more narrowly focused on commercial outcomes and maybe another that is maybe more towards like a brand protection or brand protective?
That's a great question. So again, going back to the cart, that's the easy one, right? Throw a coupon up. We don't like to just throw a coupon up, but like pull in products. What are you looking at? Let's get you over the threshold of free shipping. Put $25 more in your cart, right? And those are great ones. But when you talk about like a luxury purse or clothing brand or something, they are more protective, right? So a lot of that is usually based around more like scarcity or social proofing, right? Of your friends buying it, you're not buying it type of a thing. So we use a lot of that to get people to purchase as well. So a lot of things that we can do for the brand that, again, based on what they, what they're...
Because I imagine with those luxury brands as well, they might be a little bit more standoffish from working with a partner where they think like, oh, it's just conversion, it's just basically giving away margin.
Exactly.
But actually you can go to them and say, no, it doesn't just have to be that. There's this other suite of solutions.
Exactly. Let's focus on traffic sources, right? Obviously, affiliates a big part, but we're on all the traffic, right? So maybe you're not connecting with social media traffic as well as you are with affiliate or vice versa, or PPC or whatever it may be. So we can focus on that as well.
When you do hear from brands who have objections about working with you, what are the common misconceptions that they maybe have?
Misconceptions. Again, just that we're cart, right? Showing them more that we can do, that we're just coupon. So how we can leverage it without coupon, limited inventory or out of stock. We can do stuff there too, right? Like once we're integrated on the site, there's so much we can see and so much data that we can leverage in a very useful and productive way. It's kind of showing them that and then giving them the options to do that.
I guess from the agency side, I'm sure if you are kind of talking about Upsellit and there's like any type of like skepticism, how do you kind of overcome that? Do you have, maybe you guys have worked on case studies or you sound like you have the data.
How do you do it?
How do you get Jeremy business?
What we always say is Upsellit is always open to do A/B testing and show the numbers. So I say, let's test it out. This is how we phrase it. And then they will do the incrementality study. They will present the data. We'll do A/B testing. We'll do all of it. And then see if it actually is having an impact. And let's do baby steps too. We'll start with one product and then see what they see. And maybe we need to tweak it here or there and move it around. But as long as you can back it with data, most people are then more comfortable to test it out.
I think in my experience as well, just working with some brands, like on the Awin side, it sometimes seems to overlap with other teams, not just affiliate. And I guess, how do you guys deal with that on the agency side? Because for us, I do feel like that takes longer. It's a longer process.
It is definitely
a traditional partnership.
That definitely is harder if you're talking to like a more junior person. So we see if we can get like that person that's in charge of it on, and just try to talk to the right person. Because the reality is that they could look better too then because of it. So, or just e-commerce in general, like it lifts everything. So
I think that's almost the first hurdle before getting to the testing. It's like, how do you get the buy-in on the brand side? And I guess if I was a brand, like who would I need to go to within that company? I don't know. It just seems like so many different teams. I guess
and every team is structured differently too. So it's like sometimes it is e-commerce, sometimes it's the VP of marketing or, like
CRM. I think that goes back to what we were talking about before and why people just think we're one thing, especially in this space, right? Because if we do need to work with the CRM team, we're not necessarily doing the email through, I mean, we're doing it through affiliate, but they may not see much of that, right? So they don't really think that we do emailing as well.
Yeah.
I take it, Teresa, you're working with like a whole bunch of different types of advertiser in terms of size, scale, sector.
Absolutely.
How do some of those factors play a role in having that conversation? Because I imagine big multinational enterprise brand, that's a very different conversation maybe to a smaller local organization that maybe only has like 10, 15 people working on the company.
It is, but there's not always rhyme or reason to it because we actually do have a big international billion-dollar brand that is using Upsellit. And it can be really hard to get stuff implemented there, but we got in front of the right person then. And then it was great. And then we have small ones who just like can't wrap their heads around it or for whatever reason, or like just want us to pay the minimal amount for everything that they can. So, and then sometimes those are the easiest ones because they can implement it easily themselves or, so it's the size or the industry sometimes doesn't even matter. It's literally just how it's structured. And
sometimes there's no rhyme or reason for sure.
Exactly. Yeah. So you just never know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
Going back to kind of the incrementality and the A/B testing that you were talking about, what does good measurement look like? How do you kind of set a baseline?
Honestly, for us, it's fairly easy. We do 50-50 usually to start. So 50% will get our solution and 50% will not.
Okay.
And so we'll do a holdout group.
Yep.
And obviously at the end of the day, our stats better be better than the ones who didn't get our solution, right? But we can send it back to like G4, we can send it back to, however they're tracking, or we can do it off of their tracking. So there's lots of different ways that we can use third-party tools that they use to do the incremental lift testing, or we have our own solution. So really, again, it's the client, what they have the appetite to do, or what they can do internally.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's unique that you're willing to also use kind of like their tools as well. I think that probably helps with building
the trust, right?
and confidence.
If we don't have trust in the beginning, they're not going to stay around long, right?
Yeah.
And we're not about churn and burn. We have been doing this for 20 years for a reason, right? Like,
I think that probably happens less so these days, but there was almost like a deluge of dashboards. Every new partner has its own dashboard, and suddenly the client has to log in, familiarize themselves, educate themselves about how to use this reporting, what it means in the context of what they're trying to achieve. And it ends up being a bit of a kind of extra burden on the client rather than being supportive. And so to your point, I think that that's really helpful that you're kind of effectively aligning with what they do already.
And that's what we wanted to do, right? That you said it great. Like we wanted it to go on their dashboards because we had people like, oh, you have stats, you can do reporting when we're onboarding? Yeah, we can. And then we go and we see they've never logged in. They've never actually gone to look at the stats, even though like that was like the number one thing they wanted, right? So if we can offer to push it through their reporting and they can see it one place, it makes it easier for sure.
With that, do you guys kind of offer as well? I mean, it seems like you talk a lot directly with the brands.
I just talk a lot in general.
No. Like directly speaking with the brands, I mean, obviously you hear a lot, but do you offer that like kind of management on your side? Do you have people kind of assigned to accounts specifically? Just is there any qualifications to get service from your team or what do reports look like?
So we think of ourselves as like a white glove service, an agency type for conversion rate optimization, right? And so that is really being with them through the whole process, right? If they do qualify, and I'll get to that in a sec, but in terms of they meet minimums, which we talk about, and then they get a person who helps onboard them, a full onboarding team, make sure everything gets live, make sure the process is smooth all the way through. They will then go through a first or second solution with them as well if they can. But we've got another team behind the scenes that works with them to look and say, okay, here's the stats. Let's look for what other solutions are going to work and then put together a presentation for them on the next solutions, right? So it's not, again, now we do have the clients who are like, I don't care. Let's just keep this running. We're good with it. We're good with it. It's working. We don't need anything else. That's great. But we want to show that we're bringing the value all the time, even if they don't do it. And then if they qualify, they'll get a full CSM team as well. Which they're constantly going through and updating and whatever. So that's a lot of things, again, people don't know that we necessarily have. They think they're just putting up a solution. It's a big difference from just putting up a Shopify app or putting up some other kind of do-it-yourself model because that costs as well, right? You got to have a full team behind that. They got to pull the levers and do it. And they get that for us on a performance base. I
mean, I think that's a huge USP because I can also imagine I think sometimes when you're on the brand side running the affiliate channel, there's just so much that goes into it. So any extra service or like team that you can put behind it makes it less intimidating.
But even then people are like, well, I still have to do this, I have to do that. Like, we're trying to do all that for you. Like, we're trying to take something off your plate and they still fight us on it. But then we get live and we do it like, man, I wish I did this sooner.
Well, and it's like updating the creative and stuff like that, like which is so helpful. And they take the feedback from the brands, but then they do it and show it and they have input on every step of it, of what it's going to look like and everything, but they're the ones that do it. So, which is a lot.
What is it like from your side, Teresa, in terms of the incrementality question, good measurement when you're dealing with this type of tech partner for a client? Do you have certain guardrails or benchmarks for what you would be expecting?
Well, we definitely always say, let's do the A/B testing to see if it has any impact. It's hard because nothing happens in a bubble. So like ultimately you would say like, has your e-commerce conversion, increased overall? And hopefully yes, but we also know there's a million things happening in the world and other channels that also impact that. So I think that is why it's so important that they do that, because otherwise it's really hard to measure.
Yeah.
And their clients generally stay with us for a pretty long time. Like we have
definitely.
long value with them.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Have you, Jeremy, is there like one result or a kind of pattern that you've seen in like Lyft that is a recurring feature in these? No.
I wish there was. I wish there was. Right?
There's no
I mean,
cheat
think
code.
about it, right? Everyone
your life easier.
drives different traffic sources, right? And it's changing constantly, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. They switch things up. Like I wish there was.
Yeah.
Teresa, you probably hear this all the time from brands, but content partners are more and more becoming a focus for brands. How do you guys kind of balance that conversation between leveraging conversion technology, but also protecting the content partners within affiliate programs? How do you kind of balance that?
Tools like SoftClick are fantastic, but it's just, I think it's really in how you manage those relationships with the content partners and how you structure them. Like you do the things you definitely pay higher commission, but you can also pay in other ways too, like CPC or like hybrids, or like have other goals around them and how you're working with them. So I think that's a lot of it is like a lot of our partnerships are CPC, or if we understand, if they see see it, but they understand like, okay, no, there are rules in place that you will still get the credit. It could be how you structure your commission attribution. There's a lot of different ways to understand it. And we can say, it helps you in the long term as well. So,
have you noticed in recent years a diversification trend towards more hybrid models or alternative non-CPA payment?
Yeah, I think brands really, really want it and understand the value. And it also just kind of changes the conversation because content is more open then, and you can have more say over what it's going to be and have more control, and that's super important. I mean, now with the impact of the content on LLMs, that's totally changing the conversation where people are willing to spend a lot more on that, and they're less even concerned about if like another partner is getting commission because they're, it's such a huge value of just having that, so they will just spend for it. So in the last few months, it's definitely changed.
Does that kind of like mixed model come with challenges in terms of, I'm sure you monitor budget spend and things like that, kind of forecasting. Do you find, how do you tackle that as a team?
We honestly report kind of differently for those. So the content is totally different discussion in how we report. And now we're working extremely close with our SEO team to talk about the value and citation authority and showing that impact as well. So it's all different. Yes.
Has that already started to have an impact on your recruitment of certain partners or your kind of tactics for a program?
Yeah, we're working with them to say, like, if the client asks us specifically about that, we work with our SEO team to say which publication they want to show up for these results or these products, which one should we partner with to help them get there? And it's definitely having a big impact on how we're.
And Jeremy, on the same topic, like, what are you seeing in that regard? Because a partner like Upsellit, not really kind of affected by referral traffic and where traffic sources are coming from. So all of this content that's being taken from maybe other affiliates and is being brought together and synthesized into prompt responses. That's obviously a major implication for the wider affiliate industry.
Sure.
On-site solutions, obviously less affected by that. Are you seeing secondary effects though from the changing behavior around LLM search?
Not necessarily yet, but kind of going back to the fact that they deal with lots of different people, right? We want to be very cognizant of that as a tech publisher. So we will suppress on that type of traffic if we need to, right? So if they're just like, hey, this content publisher is just, they just don't want this type of solution on the site when they're driving the traffic, we'll suppress specifically on that affiliate. So we have that ability. So that's kind of, I guess, where we kind of or in that ecosystem, if you will. Yeah.
And have you seen like traffic volumes generally kind of decline at all with the onset of LLM search, or
not
conversion
that we've
rates
seen
increasing?
Yet.
Or?
We probably should look at that data, but no, not that we've seen quite yet. But no,
I mean it's early days, obviously.
It's early days, right? But we're very well aware that something's going to come down, right? That there's going to be a change, but we haven't blatantly seen it yet.
No. Okay, that's interesting. And so, where do SoftClick and the master tag actually help in making tech partnerships easier or more responsible to run, do you think?
I mean, the master tag is huge because you said tech can be the biggest
biggest hurdle.
The biggest hurdle. And so when, like if someone's on Awin and has master tag capabilities, I'm like, this is fantastic. It's so easy to test this out and try it.
And you all have one of the easiest ones. I mean, honestly, like not just because I'm doing this here.
I was going to say, sniff that.
Say it to camera.
But really, it's so easy for the client to do it, right? And it's a couple clicks and it's up.
When you're speaking to brands about the prospect of working with a tech partner like Upsellit, is that part of the pitch? It's easy.
Yes. Yes, definitely. Because the marketing team knows they're like, oh, if I have to get this on the calendar, it could be 6 months from now. And they might have other priorities that you have to pick your battles, and so they have to work through that. So anytime anything you can remove any friction.
And my team will actually go through the client roster with them, and we'll actually pick those out first.
Okay.
We'll go through and say, well, this is the easiest, right?
The target list.
Yeah, it's going to be easier than trying to get it up through GTM or them doing it themselves. So let's go through the ones that are on Awin that have the master tag.
Yeah.
And I guess if they do have the master tag, what's the typical lead time when someone decides we want to work with you?
I mean, it should be quick, but again, still they have other priorities or whatnot.
Well, there's the creative and stuff too.
For us, it's about a 2-week process.
Okay.
Once they get the tag up.
Okay.
Sometimes shorter, sometimes not, depending. But we want to take our time. Like she said, we want the client to approve everything, right? So the creative's got to go to them first. That may take another extra week because the creative department's backed up and they have to get their stamp of approval. Or sometimes we have clients that want to do their own creative. It's a very luxury brand and they have very strict rules. I mean, we have one client that gave us like a 250-page brand guideline one time, right? Like it's wild.
You read it all.
Logo size. What's that?
You read it all.
Everything?
Yeah, right. Yeah, every word of it. So it just depends, right?
I mean, that's still a really short lead time, though, for a tech solution. 2 weeks is.
Tell our clients that.
They always want you can clip that for your site.
Right, exactly.
When you look at the next 12 to 18 months, what is it that's changing fastest, do you think, in how brands think about partnership marketing more generally?
I mean, I talked some about this already, but the implosion with LLMs has been really big. Like we're literally getting brands signing up for affiliate just for that reason. Honestly, like ones that never did it before, but
so they actually see it as a kind of spur to investigate. And is that because they see, obviously a lot of the analysis that's being done at the moment is talking about this idea that it's not just about tier 1 publications anymore. It's you need to kind of get your name out there being referred to by other external third-party sources.
Higher ups are saying, how do we get into these? And it's affiliate.
And the easiest way is through affiliate.
It's such an easy way to do it. So it's been huge.
The largest content partners, I would say, are requiring the use of affiliate links. And like you have to have an affiliate program to be featured with those larger content partners. So it's kind of opening up a lot of brands to the affiliate space that usually might not come into the space.
And opening budgets too. It's a lot of people that never would have spent on these type of partnerships all of a sudden have the money now, and or they're moving it from. If you look at like paid search volume has gone down, so they have budget there, so they're moving budgets from that into affiliate a lot of times, which is interesting. And we see it because we do both. So we actually, are doing that for clients, or that's a lot of times how these conversations come up from our SEO team. So like we've had SEO clients that we weren't doing affiliate for that we now are because it was part of that strategy. So it's super interesting. The tracking is the part that I am like, that I cannot wait for the solution for that to be figured out. And I know what Adam was saying, the age of triangulation, like it's really complex and it's really hard, but I really am hopeful for the day when we can actually show like between that and 0-click, so much of the value of affiliate is not being tracked right now. So I think it's the solution to help fix that, but it's also, we just have to talk about our value different. I know we're a performance and we've always talked about time to click, but we have to talk more about you're reaching these demographics on this site, like you do in more traditional brand marketing, and that brand value and alignment. And I know impressions cannot be tracked. Like there's a lot of reasons impressions aren't tracked in affiliate, but also like it isn't at every other channel. Like, and well, I know PR people talk about it all the time. The PR reports are full of the reach you had. You know, like we're undervaluing ourselves if we're not talking about the channel in that way as well. Yeah. So I think it's a combination of we have to get the tracking there to show it and show the influence on the purchase when no click happens, but also just talk about like, hey, you know, if you're on this publisher, here are their demographics. It's matching exactly who you're trying to reach. So things like that too, like just expanding what we're doing for affiliate, because the channel has way expanded. And I think we're still so much tying it to sales and everything that it's beyond that.
Same question to you though, Jeremy, just to talk about like the future of the industry in the near term, at least 12 to 18 months ahead.
I think she hit the nail on the head on a lot of it, right? I think affiliate's been at a crossroads for a little bit in terms of becoming like mainstream, right? I feel like we've always been kind of like nice to have, right? Other departments have kind of come first, and I think we can really push affiliate more into the mainstream with what's happening with AI and how we can leverage it. And again, going beyond the click, and how do we do that? And it kind of goes back to partnerships, not just, you know, us talking together, but networks talking together, agencies talking together. Like, what are they doing to make it work, right? Because we're all in the same boat together, right? And I think that's a big part of where we're at, is we get to that next level. And I think if we can figure it out, it'll be good for the industry.
Okay, and question for both of you. If you had to persuade a CEO or a CFO that this channel is more than just last click, what would you say in 20 seconds?
Go.
Jeremy. Start the timer.
I would say just look at what happened during COVID, right? Like, people came to us, we were performance-based. Like, I think a lot of CEOs still don't really get that, right? Is how do we talk them into that of like, performance-based is a good way to go. You're getting what you pay for, right? And the incrementality is there if done right and all that good stuff.
Do you think those are slightly different conversations that you'd be having with a CFO versus a CEO, or is it pretty much the same?
I think it's education, right? I think that's how I see it, right? Because usually when I go to a CEO, they're like, we'll go talk to so-and-so. I don't really know much about that, right? So it's a full education. And sometimes it's tough for us because we're like, well, this is easy, right? But to them, it's like Greek, right? Or, you know, a foreign language, right? And so it's kind of just education, continuing. But maybe the AI stuff's going to push it because, like you were saying, right? CEOs and other people are coming saying, well, I need to start doing this. I need to start doing that. And maybe that forces the conversation on affiliate.
Yeah. How about you, Teresa?
I would say you don't have the right partners if you think that. So just walking them through like an Upsellit or like a TV Scientific or all the content sites out there. There's so many others that, you know, like if they really took the time and looked at who's in the affiliate space, they would understand it's not. So it's education, I think, too.
And to your point, it's maybe even highlighting that it's not just last click, like all the other models that you were just talking about earlier.
Thanks so much for tuning into this week's episode of Awin-Win Marketing Podcast, which incidentally is the last one in the series. Congrats, Rach. You've made it all the way to the end. Tell me, how have you enjoyed this series?
I think it's been really fun. I think what's made this series especially interesting, aside from me joining a few episodes, of course, is hearing the different perspectives from across the industry. It's been nice to take a step back from the day-to-day and really have conversations that dive deep into where the space is actually heading this year and next year. And then stay tuned for season 4 because it's not far off. We've already got a great lineup of interviews in the can, and there are some really exciting partnerships and industry conversations that we'll be spotlighting. Yeah, that's right. So make sure you are subscribed for those. And also look out for our special Power 100 episode coming up before then, where you'll get to meet a selection of partners that are featured in this year's esteemed list. Until next time, thanks for listening to a Win-Win Marketing Podcast, where we show you how affiliate marketing always offers a win-win. Goodbye.
Everybody's phone's on silent?
Good question.
Yeah. Mine's outside.
Mine's usually on silent, but
Talk about the ding.
My phone just dinged.
Oh, it did?
I know.
You're supposed to be the expert.
TED Talk again.
I was going to say that was so good too.
I have to redo my TED Talk.
So we're going to take this whole interview from the top, yeah?